Someone shut up that rat ogre! Rat ogre coming for us! Rat ogre!
We only have 4 children.
Ever been in this situation? This is Licorice Snowbake, and this video is all about Ogre range DPS. In the dungeon's finale, the Ogre is running directly at you, and you and your party have to take it down as fast as possible before it, and its accompanying horde, arrives. From the time it appears until the first slave rats start to reach you, it turns out you have about 10 seconds. An Ogre with a horde is much more dangerous than an Ogre alone, so I'm going to show you each class's best ranged weapon for fighting the Ogre. First up is Saltspire with the volley crossbow. This is not only Salt's best anti-ogre weapon, but it's also the best anti-ogre weapon in the game by a pretty good margin. As you can see, you can empty the clip in 3.5 seconds. You want to avoid that reload. It takes 5 seconds unless you have mastercrafted, but even with the reload I'm able to take the Ogre down pretty quickly. The optimal use for this weapon, however, is if you can take your time and get only headshots. Obviously this won't work on a situation like the dungeon's finale where the Ogre starts off far away, but if you can take your time and shoot only for the head, you're able to take it down in a single clip. Next up we've got Karelian with the hagbane. This is the second best anti-ogre weapon in the game, and one of the great things about the hagbane is how reliable it is. Unlike the volley bow, which requires headshots in order to achieve optimal DPS, with the hagbane you can shoot the Ogre from any direction and still fry it. The beam staff is Sienna's best option against the Ogre, and the first thing I'd like you to note here is that it is possible to dash while you're channeling the beam. And that's handy because the attack speed on this weapon ramps up the longer you keep it held on the same target. If you allow it to go off the target for just a second, you lose a lot of damage output. While this weapon won't be soloing the Ogre in 10 seconds, its damage is still quite respectable, and with the help of your friends you'll be just fine. And finally we have Kruber and Barden. Kruber's best anti-ogre weapon is the repeater handgun. Barden's best anti-ogre ranged weapon is the crossbow. Both require headshots in order to get any kind of good DPS, and neither are that great against the Ogre. If you're playing one of these characters and the Ogre comes up, your role is to take care of the ads so that the damage dealers on your team can do what they do best. One point I would like to make that I think is kind of amusing: while Kruber and Barden do share most of the same weapons, this is the one area, anti-ogre range DPS, where Kruber excels over Barden. And so that concludes our run through of the best 5 ogre killing weapons. If you don't use one of those weapons, don't worry. As long as at least one person on your team brings one of them, you should be fine. The most important factors for being able to take the Ogre down in Cataclysm difficulty is 1, make sure you saved enough ammo for the Ogre fight. 2, aim for the head. This is so important. Headshots make a huge difference, especially while you're under effects of the strength potion. Which brings us to point 3, share a strength potion. Whoever brings pot share should hold on to a strength for the Ogre. For maps with 2 ogres, like dungeons, someone can pass him the extra. I had a lot of fun making this video. I hope it was informative, and have fun killing rats.
Reloading.
Back a little bit. Good.